Over the last 6 months, I've been asked to go on Married at First Sight Australia. I believe the Indian version is just called Marriage. I was in the Daily Mail for telling Aussies to steal lettuce from Woolies during a cost of living crisis. And on Sunrise, I called Koshi K-Dog in his final ever episode.
Thanks, K-Dog.
And now to compliment my full LinkedIn, I have been life banned from a little known holiday booking company called Airbnb. Not suspended, life banned. Do you know what that means? When I'm 50 years old, I'm going to have to pretend that I love day trips every time my wife suggests we go away for a weekend. I have to avoid night times like I'm a goddamn werewolf. This happening coincidentally after racking up millions of views talking about Airbnb destroying the rental market and eroding living communities across Australia. So yes, I'm going down like the Titanic. Crash and burn. Before I tell you why I was life banned from Airbnb, and believe me, it's embarrassing, here's why Airbnb should be banned from Australia if we want to solve the rental crisis. Guys, in the name of the algorithm gods, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Australia's rental crisis has gotten so bad, young people are more likely to attend a goddamn house inspection than a house party in 2023. With renters being asked to rehome their pets if they want to move in, while 1,600 Australians are pushed into homelessness every single month. The politicians will pretend they can't do anything about it because the politicians are the ones who make money from property. But Australia is one of the most lenient short-term rental regulators in the world. 70% of Airbnbs were previously long-term rentals, and on average they're booked for just 52 days and remain vacant for the rest of the year. And then we wonder why Australia has 1 million empty homes. Places like Amsterdam, Boston, and Toronto all tightly regulate short-term rentals, whereas in Australia the taxpayer actually subsidizes short-term rentals through corrupt and unregulated loopholes. Australian taxpayers should not be giving $5 billion per year to landlords removing long-term rentals from the market. But that is happening right now because Airbnb is a glorified version of living with your landlord upstairs, except in a warmer location and where the local cafe doesn't have a barista because you're staying in the home where the local barista used to live. That's what Airbnb is, isn't it? Staying in the local town's Airbnb and then complaining about how long it takes to make coffee because nobody can live in the town. All those mums with these giant sun hats who love saying "da." Macchiato, please, darling. Da, da, da. Journalist Tim Evans from Michael West calls this the Airbnb tax rort. A tax rort nobody is talking about that leaves thousands of livable homes unoccupied. Essentially, Airbnb operators are able to claim 100% of running costs on properties that are actually just rented for a fraction of the year. And it's costing the taxpayer, I don't know, $5 billion? It's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street, except if Jordan Belfort was addicted to Twinings instead of Adderall. Here you go, lovey. Don't forget, you gotta be out by 11. Airbnb is destroying the rental market and the average Australian taxpayer is subsidizing it. If that money went to housing, perhaps the Greens would end this Newtown-based rap battle and this country could make actual progress on housing policy. And sure, it won't solve the rental crisis by itself, but at least it'll make sure the average taxpayer isn't subsidizing the rental crisis, and in turn will cause Airbnb owners to consider whether they should put their property back onto the long-term rental market. And even if only 20% of Airbnb operators do this, that adds 50,000 homes back onto the market. 50,000. And if they don't list their Airbnbs as long-term rentals, fine. Now the government makes $5 billion in recouped income from this tax rort that can be spent on housing. I mean, really, the only good thing about Airbnbs is their fodder for murder mystery podcasts, and you can read messages between homeowners and guests where they call each other things like "you corrupt stain of a human." The crazy thing about these crazy Airbnbs is that when you give regulation teeth, it actually works. Airbnb lost 80% of its addresses in Amsterdam following the introduction of new rules requiring owners to register with the city. Landlords are limited to 30 days rental a year, and those breaking the rules can be fined $21,000. Boston, Amsterdam, Toronto all impose tourism taxes as a disincentive to short-term rental operators. Ironically, the only reason I uncovered this tax fraud is because I was life banned from Airbnb during a UK comedy tour where I was opening for my friend and Lord Farquaad impersonator Ruben Solo. I got home from a gig after midnight and someone was in the bathroom, so I decided to pee behind a tree in the front garden. Look, not my finest hour, but in light of recent events, I now wish I took it a step further and shat on the front doorstep. Imagine if Airbnb was banned because this tax rot came to light, and as the ashes smolder, after drinking 3 liters of coconut water, I turn up to Airbnb headquarters like I'm Bradley Cooper in American Sniper, except instead of firing at innocent Iraqis, I'm firing at tech bros who don't want to admit being peed on is one of their kinks. Boom. That'll show Airbnb. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and join the Patreon for just $5 so we can release these videos every single week.